Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kettlebell Basics. So in the first episode we talked about the swing, which is the fast dynamic movement of our kettlebell training. Our second kettlebell basic movement will be the slower, more statically controlled movement, which is the Turkish Get Up. The Turkish Get Up is one of the best exercises ever. You will use your entire body through this get up. It works mobility, it works stability, it builds strength, it builds power for striking, it builds balance and coordination for your footwork. It builds the ability to get off the floor and get down to the floor, which is really important when you do that quickly through whether it be jiu-jitsu, changing positions on the ground, or in Krav when you're trying to get up off the ground. So I'll do it one time all the way through, and then after that we'll break it down. All right, so all right, so I chose the camera angle that showed the lower portion instead of the full body length portion because the important part is not so much the bell as it is everything that happens underneath of it. So if you want to see a full get up, you can go to my website, principalmovement.com, and there you'll find a get up that I showed the whole, all the way up, all the way down, where you can see the whole movement. So let's break it down. Okay, so the first part that we're going to break down is how to pick up the bell. Okay, so very, basic. When you've decided, when you've done your get-ups and you're good enough without weight, when you want to actually use weight, the biggest safety precaution is you want to lift this bell up as if it weighs 1,000,000 pounds, all right? So you want to start in this kind of fetal position on your side. My elbow is tucked in. So for my jiu-jitsu players, that good elbow discipline. Same thing with picking up the bell for the Turkish Get Up. I'm going to put my hand through the handle and get a nice grip on the horn of the bell. Then I'm going to use my other hand as a support hand on top. Now with both hands around the handle, both elbows in my sides, I'm going to roll back onto my back. Okay, and my elbow is down, the bell is in against my body. From here, I'm going to use both hands to press the bell up. Once the bell is extended, my wrist is straight. So my knuckles are toward the ceiling like I'm throwing a punch. My arm or my fist is right over my shoulder and my shoulder is depressed. There's a connection. My lat is turned on here, so I'm not going to press the bell up without the rest of my body. I'll take the bell and my body at the same time. The opposite leg extends at about a 45-degree angle. The same side leg presses into the ground. The opposite hand, again, comes off to the side at about maybe less than a 45-degree angle here. And then that's the beginning position. Okay, when I want to bring it back down, I bring my hand up, my foot in, I bring the bell back down to that starting position, come over onto the side, and then if I want to go to the other side, I'm going to take the bell and halo it behind my head, never bringing the bell over my face because the bell will win every time if I let go. All right, so then the other side, just so you can see what the arms and legs on the opposite side look like. Okay, smaller than a 45-degree angle, about a 45-degree angle here with my foot. All right, and everything is connected. So I'm going to put the bell down, and we'll go through the steps unweighted. So we'll push our bell up, hand comes down, leg opens up. From here, I want to press through the foot that's planted, engaging my glutes, and I'm going to roll onto my extended arm. So I'm not going to sit straight up, I'm going to roll onto my elbow. Okay, so there is my helper, and here you are on your elbow. So that's the first part of the get up, is rolling up onto that elbow. And roll up. Good? Okay, from there, we'll talk about the next step. Go ahead, bud. Go get daddy. Okay, so I've pressed my arms up, dropped my opposite hand and arm to the side, engaged my glute, pressed through that foot, and roll up onto my elbow. From here, I want to keep my hand planted and screw it into the ground as I come up onto my hand. My shoulder is back and down, everything is connected here. Okay, so now we've gone to our hand. The next step, you want to lift your hips so you can slide this extended leg back underneath. I want my hand, my knee, and my foot all in one line. All right, so we're on our hand. We're going to put weight through our hand and our foot to lift our hips, bridge up, and bring that knee and foot back in line with our hand. From here, I need to come to a half kneeling position. I have to take weight off of my hand first. So the first thing I'm going to do is shift my weight back towards my foot so I can easily lift that hand up. And then I'll straighten out so I have a nice solid square base of a half kneel. From there, I'll stand up and come up to a parallel position. Everything's reversed. Now we're going to go back down. So a good way to remember what leg needs to go. If you can tap it, that's the one that moves. The other hand is extended up holding the bell. I'll come down like I'm floating through the clouds. Then I need to turn my foot in. We call this a windshield wiper. Because remember, I need to stick my hips back to then weight my hand. Okay, so now I have my hand, my knee, and my foot in one line. My upper arm is still extended. My knuckles are still towards the ceiling. I'm going to have weight through my foot and my hand, which will allow the kneeling leg to come forward, and I'll just come straight down onto my hip. From here, I'm going to unscrew my hand, right, to bring that elbow down, and then I'm going to press away from my hand to slowly bring my shoulder back and opposite shoulder down. And those are the steps of the Turkish Get Up. Anytime you have the kettlebell in your hand with an extended arm, you really want to make sure that the elbow is straight. Okay? Sometimes that bent elbow comes from weakness in the tricep, so the elbow wants to bend. Sometimes the bent elbow comes from the fact that your shoulder isn't back and down. Okay, so you want to do like that anti-shrug, pulling the shoulder blade back and down into your lats, and that'll help straighten the elbow. I don't recommend doing a Turkish Get Up with a lot of weight right away. This movement is meant to be done slowly and smoothly with a lot of control. The first thing that I would say that you can use would be nothing, just to get the movement down. The second step would be putting something that if it fell off, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Flip-flop, a pillow. At the Krav school, sometimes we'll use a focus mitt. You can use a yoga block. Keeping that balance on a closed fist helps you maintain your shoulder position. And then once you get really good at that, that's when you can add the weight and build from there. So I've done some pretty impressive Turkish Get Up weights, but the thing I'm most proud of is being able to do a cup of water without spilling it. So it's not always about how much weight you can get up and get back down, but just how well you can move through the movement. So great drills to practice the Turkish Get Up. You can go through each position, and I call this a ratcheted get up. So you can take your time going through each position. So you could start on your back, open the arm and the leg, and then just do 4 times, 4 reps to the elbow. Up. 3 and 4. Okay. Next would be all the way up to the hand 4 times. Okay, so, and then you just keep going. The next part would be to bring that leg back. From there to the half kneel, from there to the stand, and then you can bring it back down again. So there are lots of ways to play around with the positions. A more advanced would be going into the position and then doing a press. And again, you don't need weight for that. I'll get my flip-flop and show you. So I'm going to press, have my fist straight up. My flip-flop is on it. I'm going to come up to my elbow. And without any weight, just work on the press. So you may have noticed, whenever my hand is on the ground, I'm looking up at the hand that would be holding the kettlebell. Okay? Whenever my hand is off the ground, I'm looking forward. It's just a good rule of thumb to help with the positioning. And then right at the end, I dropped it. So the flip-flop, the water bottle, anything you balance on your knuckles will kind of give you a cue into where your position is failing. So for me, the flip-flop fell forward as I went back. So what that indicates is my arm went from nice and straight and tall to forward, and gravity took over and took my flip-flop. So your kettlebell basic of today is the Turkish Get Up. You can do, you can't do too many get-ups. They're so good for you. You know, get-ups in the morning is a great way to get all the blood flowing. And as you notice, we didn't do any warm-ups. We didn't do, you know, any calisthenics ahead of time. Get-ups are a great way to kind of assess where you are mobility-wise. Doing it is actually the intervention to improve the mobility and the stability. And afterwards, you just feel great. So have fun with that. I'll leave you a kettlebell program to try for yourself. Like I said, if this is your first time doing a get up, don't use any weight. Just go with either nothing or something that if it fell off and hit you in the head, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Flip-flops, always good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.